Put your hands together for Showtime, Shawn Porter. Showtime, you have fought inside this arena. You know what it's like to be a part of big fight nights. What does it mean?
I fought here once, by the way.
Okay, once. But you've been a part of some major events. You went ahead and had a big win over Adrian Broner here inside this arena. But what is it like when fighters compete here at the MGM Grand Garden Arena?
We love it. I mean, I even love that the weigh-in is open to the public and it's filling up in here. These fighters deserve it. We want to be seen. We want to show out. And when we hear that noise, that gets us going. You know, so that's what's most important about a big fight in a big arena like this. You fill it up and you give everybody what they want.
So you're telling me that the louder the fans cheer, the better you perform. You haven't been in that spot many times?
Listen, unless you're on the canvas. If you can't, and you're on the canvas and they screaming, then you got a different story. But yeah, for the most part, you hear all of the good stuff, you hear all of the bad stuff. Sometimes you hear the stupid stuff, but it always pushes you forward, you know what I mean?
Now, Gervonta Davis in our main event looking to go to 30-0. Just looking at him by himself, how special is Tank Davis?
Special, man. He honestly has put himself in a class of his own. I always like to say that he's fought himself out of the shadow of Floyd Mayweather. I think he got more recognition than most fighters would at his age because of Floyd, but he certainly has burst through that shadow, and he stands by himself now. Power is undeniable, and the skills that go along with it. I love hearing Calvin Ford say, push them buttons, Frank, push them. Yeah, trust me, Frank gonna push them buttons, and we're gonna see both these guys do some things we haven't seen them do before.
Let's talk about Frank Martin. Frank Martin, 18-0, 12 knockouts. He's a southpaw. Trains under the guidance of Derek James. You know, his promoter is Errol Spence Jr. from Andon Promotions. But can you tell us about how good Frank Martin is? Because I don't think we've quite seen anywhere near the best that Frank Martin has to offer.
You know, first of all, I got to shout out Errol Spence Jr. Check out, again, the Porterweight Podcast. Check out the interview that we did yesterday. Phenomenal interview, but he says something to me yesterday on the show that I don't run into a lot of promoters and managers telling me that they've given advice to fighters. You know, seeing Errol on the stage with this fighter on the press conference, to me that was special. And then he told me, he said, I told him every fighter has to be here at some point. You tell me what champion never had that first experience. Everybody's saying you've never experienced this before. So what? At some point, they hadn't. Be yourself, be calm, be cool. And I felt like he was giving his fighter a lot of emotional and mental support, which is something that a lot of us need, you know? Once you get past that, though, the kid can check off a lot of boxes. Speed, power, quickness. He's very intuitive. He's a counterpuncher. He's not going to be running into stuff like y'all seen a lot of Tank Davis's past opponents do. You know what I mean? This one is going to be tactical. Enjoy the chess match, y'all. This one is going to be a chess match, trust me.
Does it mean even that much more, Shawn, because both guys are undefeated and there's such a mentality to defend that perfect record?
Yeah, you know, I think for Tank, the expectation is what was going to push him forward. You know, if there's any doubt at all that they're losing the fight, what's going to push him forward is the expectation to beat Tank Davis, you know? And then for Frank, not wanting to lose that really does mean something. I think for me, it meant something when I lost it, but I didn't understand it until it was gone. But I never looked at my loss like, well, I got a loss. It don't matter if I lose now. No. I wanted to win every fight, you know? But when you actually have that it does mean something. When you feel that fight slipping away from you, you can hold on to something. That is something that you can grab a hold on to.
Well, speaking of being undefeated, David Benavidez now fighting at 175, taking on Oleksandr Gvozdyk. For David Benavidez, now coming up to a new weight class, 7 pounds north. What are you expecting out of the undefeated David Benavidez?
You know, I think the challenge that a lot of people expected to see from him at 168, to me, there's no one that can challenge him at 168. Those challenges are now at 175. He's fighting guys just as big as he is. Gvozdyk, he's fighting guys that have a lot of experience, or he will be. You know, this is the first challenge at 175. I think that this will be one of the more evenly matched fights that we'll see David in. David has always had the X factor everybody's been in the ring with. Caleb Plant, for an example. Caleb just as fast as David. Most guys aren't as fast as David at 168. Caleb just as fast, but doesn't have the strength to keep off that monster. I think moving up to 175, the playing field is going to be a little more even. If anything, we'll have more speed with both the hands and the feet, and that'll offset everything for him moving forward. We'll see.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, obviously, David Benavidez, he has his focus on Oleksandr Gvozdyk here at 175, but we have heard throughout the week that he has no problem going back down to 168 for one particular name. We all know Canelo Alvarez. That's what David Benavidez wants. I'd love to see it. I'm sure you would as well. But in your estimation, how big of a fight could that be for the sport of boxing?
That is the fight, in my personal opinion, that David Benavidez needs to become a superstar in boxing. And I say this respectfully because this fight with Gvozdyk, I'm sure if I ask how much of y'all know what y'all know about Gvozdyk, it won't be very many people screaming, hooping, and hollering. You got to promote both sides. And I feel like when it comes to David Benavidez, we know him to be the monster. Let's talk about who he's getting in the ring with. You know what I mean? Let's talk about how great and exciting this fight is going to be. If you keep pushing the monster and the monster scaring everybody away, you know, you don't have anything to work with. Right now, Canelo Alvarez at 168 is the guy I think that makes David Benavidez the star. I'm going to say it. If y'all ain't seen the Porter Way podcast, Canelo cannot beat David Benavidez.
Wow, you're saying that.
I respect Canelo. He can't beat him. That's why he ain't calling his name. And I think in the last fight he had against Munguia in the post-fight, he hinted at fighting Benavidez. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we see Benavidez stay at 175 and fight his way to becoming the superstar that he should already be.
Possibly matchups against Better Biev or Bivol?
Oh, absolutely. That's what we're waiting on.
Can you imagine those fights?
I don't think we see Better Biev, but I definitely feel like we should be able to see David Benavidez get in the ring with Bivol. To me, that might be a 50-50 fight.
I love that.
That might be the 50-50 fight. I know, like I said before, we haven't seen David in a lot of contending fights where from round one to the end of the fight, it's been a competitive fight. At some point, he just takes off. With Bivol, I think that might be the most 50-50 fight out here for Benavidez.
You're on to something if he's able to beat Oleksandr Gvozdyk. Sean, you're a busy man. What do you got coming up on the Porter Way podcast? How can people subscribe?
Porter Way podcast, we're live every Tuesday. You guys subscribe. We're on every podcast platform. We're on YouTube. I always tell y'all, check out the YouTube because that's where you get to see the characters be characters. We love it on there. And we got a lot of comedians coming on, a lot of actors coming on, and we're taking it to another level. Also, our Patreon, subscribe to our Patreon, TPWP.
Ladies and gentlemen, showtime. Sean Porter, give it up. Of course. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer to our weigh-in. We have our announcers, Miguel Flores handling the prelims, Jimmy Lennon Jr. after that. But I want to know, Las Vegas, if you're here to see Gervonta Tank Davis, make some noise. If you're here to see Frank Martin, make some noise. Co-main event for the interim WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Oleksandr Gvozdyk takes on David Benavidez. If you're a fan of David Benavidez, Las Vegas, let me hear you. All right, we got our weigh-in coming up at the top of the hour. The event promoted by GTD Promotions, TGB Promotions, Man Down Promotions, and Samson Boxing, Las Vegas. We are getting ready for our weigh-in. Coming up in a few short moments, it is Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, the 100th championship fight night in the legacy of the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Do not miss it. The weigh-in coming your way in a few short moments. Las Vegas, make some noise. It's weigh-in time. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up in a few short moments as Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, they are making their way into the Grand Garden Arena here in Las Vegas. It is going to be a sensational night of boxing, the 100th championship fight night in the history of the MGM Grand Garden Arena. It is PBC pay-per-view on Prime Video. Gervonta Davis, Frank Martin go head-to-head. But first up, we have outstanding prelims that come your way at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 local time. Miguel Flores handling the ring announcing duties for those matchups. We have Elijah Garcia, 21 years of age, 16-0, 13 knockouts, from Phoenix, Arizona, matching up against Tyron Davis from Wilmington, Delaware, trained under the guidance of Stephen Breadman Edwards. Also, to begin our prelim portion, this is going to be a heck of a matchup between, it features Mexico against the Philippines. From Mexico, you have Eduardo Ramirez, who has been in the ring against the likes of Isaac Cruz. He's a tricky southpaw, taking on Mark Magsayo of the Philippines, who had a heck of a battle last March against Brandon Figueroa. Magsayo, the former WBC featherweight champion of the world. So, those are our first two prelim matchups, our pay-per-view 4 championship fights. We'll start off with Carlos Adames squaring off and defending his WBC middleweight championship of the world against the 2012 United States Olympian, a man who's been inside the ring against the likes of Tim Tszyu. It is Terrell Gausha, looking to become a world champion. Also, we have Gary Antuanne Russell from Capitol Heights, Maryland, 17-0, with all of his wins coming by way of knockout. He has a 100% knockout percentage, as he will match up against Alberto Puello, who's undefeated from the Dominican Republic. Puello, the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world. That one is for the interim WBC super lightweight championship of the world. Co-main event, David Benavidez, the super middleweight champion of the world. He goes up making his light heavyweight debut against Oleksandr Gvozdyk back in December of 2018. Knocked out Adonis Stevenson by vicious 11th round knockout. He's the former WBC light heavyweight champion of the world from Ukraine. In our main event, Gervonta Tank Davis goes after victory number 30. He's undefeated, coming off of a spectacular performance last April at nearby T-Mobile Arena when he knocked out Riot Garcia. He will square off against Frank Martin, who's 18-0, 12 knockouts, trained under the guidance of Derek James. Ladies and gentlemen, from top to bottom, this is a massive night in boxing. It is being promoted by GTD Promotions along with TGB Promotions, Samson Boxing, and Man Down Promotions. I will now turn it over to Miguel Flores for the weigh-in. Las Vegas, make some noise! It's weigh-in time officially.
Return of superstar Tank Davis. Will he steamroll unbeaten power puncher Frank the Ghost Martin?
Bring it on.
Let's go!
Plus, David Benavidez is on a mission to wreak havoc on the light heavyweight division, starting with Oleksandr Gvozdyk, 2 of boxing's biggest names, 1 explosive event. Warriors only, Saturday, June 15th, live on PBC pay-per-view on
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to MGM Grand Garden Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Premier Boxing Champions presents our official weigh-in. Tomorrow will mark the 100th championship fight night in this historic venue, and it is all headlined by 2 world title bouts, Tank versus Martin and Benavidez versus Gvozdyk, only on pay-per-view with Prime Video. It is all brought to you by GTD Promotions, TGB Promotions, Samson Boxing, and Man Down Promotions. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours, and El Mexicano brand products, bringing authentic sabor to your table. Somos El Mexicano. Preceding the pay-per-view tomorrow, we have our PBC on Prime Video prelims, and they all kick off at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. Now, let's meet our first bout on those prelims. It will be 8 rounds in the super featherweight division. Introducing first with a record of 15 victories, including 9 wins by knockout, opposite of 8 defeats and 2 draws. Representing Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, here is Angel Cachorro Contreras. And now introducing his opponent. His record stands unblemished, 5 victories with 3 by knockout. Representing Whittier, California, here is Justin Chosen Veloria. Once again, this is 8 rounds in the super featherweight division. We have a weight limit of 130 pounds. All right, getting set to step onto the scale first. Once again, out of Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, here is Angel Cachorro Contreras. 129.8, 129.8 for Contreras. And now, stepping onto the scale once again, the young and talented Justin Chosen Veloria. 129.8, also 129.8 for Veloria. This will be our first bout, kicking things off for the PBC prelims tomorrow on Prime Video, live and free. Angel Contreras taking on Justin Veloria. All right, now let's introduce our second fight for the prelims. Once again, PBC presents 10 rounds in the super featherweight division. Coming to the stage now with a record of 28 victories, 13 by knockout, opposite of 3 defeats and 3 draws. Out of Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, here is Gervonta Zurdito Ramirez. And now introducing his opponent with 25 victories, 17 by knockout, and just 2 defeats. Representing Tagbilaran City, Bohol, Philippines, he is the former WBC Featherweight World Champion, the action-packed fighter, Mark Magnifico Magsayo. And now getting set to step onto the scale first. Once again, out of Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, here is the talented Gervonta Zurdito Ramirez. 129 on the dot, 129 for Ramirez. And now let's bring his opponent, the former featherweight champion, Mark Magnifico Magsayo. 129.4, 129.4 for Magsayo. This will be our second fight on the PBC prelims with Prime Video tomorrow night. Eduardo Zurdito Ramirez against Mark Magnifico Maxayo. Once again, our PBC prelims begin on Prime Video tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin our pay-per-view portion of things. Let's turn it over to the legendary Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Your microphone, thank you. Can we double check where we are? Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you, and we welcome you to the world-famous MGM Grand Garden Arena, celebrating 100 championship nights of boxing as Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for the PBC Pay-Per-View on Prime special event brought to you by GTD Promotions and TGB Promotions. Well, fans, our opening pay-per-view attraction features a World Championship bout. It is brought to you in association with Samson Boxing. Let's bring our fighters to the scale and the stage at this time. First, we present, originally from Cleveland, Ohio, now training in Southern California, a 2012 U.S. Olympian, a current world ring contender. Please welcome Terrell Gausha. And we welcome to the stage at this time his opponent, training in Las Vegas by way of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, the newly crowned WBC middleweight champion of the world, introducing Carlos Bronco Adames. And it looks like our fighters are just about ready to come to the scale at this time. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Middleweight Championship of the World. Weight limit on this fight is 160 pounds. First, please welcome to the scale the challenger, record of 24-3-1 with 12 knockouts, making his second attempt at a world title. Please welcome Terrell Gausha. Terrell Gausha weighs in right at the limit of 160 pounds, 160 pounds. And now his opponent, the defending champion with a record of 23-1 with 18 knockouts, making the first defense of his title. Here is the defending WBC middleweight champion of the world, Carlos Bronco Adames. Carlos Adames weighs in at 159.2 pounds, 159.2 for the champion. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Opens up our pay-per-view portion of our big night of action tomorrow night. It's the WBC Middleweight Championship of the World. Carlos Bronco Adames versus Terrell Gausha. Premier Boxing Champions continues with our official weigh-in. At this time, we present a battle of undefeated super lightweights, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing, presented in association with Samson Boxing. At this time, we welcome our fighters to the stage. First, fighting out of Las Vegas by San Juan de la Maguana in the Dominican Republic. Here is the former undefeated WBA super lightweight champion of the world. Please welcome Alberto La Vispa Puello. And now we invite his opponent to the stage at this time, representing the renowned boxing family from Capitol Heights in Maryland. He'll be making his first attempt at a world title. Here is the undefeated world rank contender, Gary Antuanne Russell. All right, fans, let's bring our fighters to the scale. 12 rounds of boxing. The interim WBC Super Lightweight World Championship weight limit is 140 pounds. First, undefeated at 22-0 with 10 knockouts, the former undefeated WBA Super Lightweight World Champion Alberto La Vispa Puello. 139.8 pounds, 139.8 pounds for Alberto Puello. And now to the scale, his opponent with an outstanding perfect record of 17 wins, no losses, all 17 wins coming by way of knockout. The 2016 U.S. Olympian, the hard-hitting, undefeated world rank contender. Here is Gary Antuanne Russell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our fighters square up, face off. The last time they'll see each other before they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night. And we want to bring to your attention the action is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. And El Mexicano brand products bringing authentic sabor to your table. Somos El Mexicano. Fighters going to square off just one moment. Interim WBC Super Lightweight Championship, Gary Antuanne Russell versus Alberto La Vispa Puello. And now let's hear from fighters, and to lead us in this interview, please welcome talented combat sports reporter Jordan Plant.
We'll have my colleague Martin Batzer translate for us. Puello, 2 undefeated fighters. Someone's always got to go. How do you ensure you get the victory tomorrow night?
Esta pelea entre dos peleadores invictos. Alguien lo tiene que perder. ¿Cómo ves que será esta pelea mañana por la noche?
Será una pelea bastante interesante, ya que yo vengo a dar el todo por el todo. Me preparé muy bien para esta oportunidad y vengo a dejarlo todo arriba del ring y a darle un buen espectáculo a todo este público bello.
It's going to be a great fight, a very interesting fight. I came here to give you my all, and most importantly, to give you all beautiful fans a great fight to remember.
Most of your fights have been in the Dominican Republic, and this is your first time fighting in Las Vegas on pay-per-view. How much more added motivation does that bring?
esta va a ser tu primera vez peleando en un pay-per-view en Las Vegas después de tantos años luchándola en República Dominicana. ¿Hay un significado especial para vos en estar en este escenario?
Claro que sí, significa mucho para mí estar de vuelta y en un escenario como este me siento muy contento. Gracias a PBC por darme la oportunidad. Quiero demostrar que soy digno de pelear y ganar un título mundial nuevamente y dar las mejores peleas.
Well, I am really grateful and really happy to be in this stage. It does have great meaning to me because it's going to be a great card. I want to thank PBC for giving me this opportunity, and I want to prove to all of you that I'm worthy of this stage, that I can fight for world titles, and that I'm eager to go for more.
Thank you so much. Buena suerte.
Gracias.
Now we'll hand up. I want to say happy birthday, the big 28 today. Guys, give it up for him. It's his birthday today. All right, so you're 17-0, 17 KOs. But Puello's the first opponent you'll face with an undefeated record, and he's a former world champion. Does that type of challenge excite you at all?
Not at all. This is a stepping stone. You know, I'm doing this for the Washingtonians and everybody back in Capitol Heights. You know, it's a lineage that I got to work forward towards. You know, and I'm going to just keep that hard work and blood, sweat, and tears that I done went through. You know, I'm not going to let that go in vain. So I'm going to come up here and show my showcase style and let everybody know that I'm coming to win. Stay victorious, keep my O, keep my knockout, everything, you know what I mean? I'm going to give y'all a juicy show. I know that's what y'all come to see.
I heard you say earlier this week that you feel like Puello's going to make you have to bring a few more tools out of your arsenal. Can you give the fans a hint on what those tools might be?
I can't give y'all that hint. I'll be giving y'all too much sauce, you know, but just stay tuned. It's going to be a juicy match. This is the perfect platform to show y'all.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Gary Antuanne. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right, fans, here we go. Premier Boxing Champions continues with the official weigh-in, as at this time we move to our co-main event of the evening and a battle of champions for the interim WBC light heavyweight world title, brought to you by GTD Promotions and TGB Promotions in association with Samson Boxing. Welcome our fighters to the stage at this time. First, training in Southern California by way of Kharkiv, Ukraine. Please welcome the former WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr "The Nail" Gvozdyk. And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent from Phoenix, Arizona, making his light heavyweight debut, the two-time WBC super middleweight champion of the world, known as the Mexican Monster, David El Monstro Benavidez. Here we go. Let's bring our fighters to the scale once again. 12 rounds of boxing, WBC interim light heavyweight world title, weight limit 175 pounds. First, please welcome a 2012 Olympic bronze medalist with a record of 20 wins, only one defeat, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Making his return to the ring, please welcome to the scale the former WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr "The Nail" Gvozdyk. $174.2 pounds, 174.2 for Oleksandr "The Nail" Gvozdyk. And his opponent holds an undefeated record of 28-0 with 24 knockouts. One of the young, hard-hitting stars of the sport, the two-time WBC super middleweight champion of the world, David El Monstro Benavidez. 174.2, 174.2 for the Mexican Monster.
Right on the tape, David. Here we go, Oleksandr. All right, guys, feet on the tape. Let's face off. Hold that. Right here together, guys.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's 12 rounds of boxing. The WBC interim light heavyweight world title. David El Monstro Benavidez versus Oleksandr the Nail Gvozdyk in a co-main event of the evening. Now to hear from both of our fighters, once again, please welcome acclaimed combat sports reporter Jordan Plant.
Oleksandr, you've been at 175 your entire career. You fought some of the best in that division. What's your final message to David Benavidez before tomorrow night?
Well, now it's time to fight one of the best in 168 who moving up in 175.
Enough said right there. And you took a 4-year break from boxing, but you came back last year in 2023. What would it mean to you to win the WBC interim title tomorrow night?
It's an awesome and great opportunity to become a 2-time world champion and become, in general, world champion again.
Well, thank you so much and good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Now I'll head over to David. David, good to see you. The last time you stepped on the scale anywhere close to 175 was in 2015, almost 10 years ago. What can the fans expect to see from you tomorrow night with that extra weight and that extra energy?
You could see an even more destructive monster in the ring, and I feel amazing. I can't wait to go in there and give you guys a hell of a performance. Pero le quiero dar las gracias a toda mi gente y toda mi raza que vinieron a apoyar. Los quiero mucho y sábado vamos por la victoria.
And what's your prediction for this fight?
I'm going for the knockout. The monster always goes for the knockout, and that's what I'm going to get this Saturday.
What kind of message do you think that's going to send to the light heavyweight division if you, at your first fight at this weight class, if you can stop a guy?
It's just going to let everybody know I'm here, and the new champion is coming soon.
All right, good luck. We'll see you in the ring tomorrow night. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
And here we go from the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Premier Boxing Champions presents the weigh-in for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by GTD Promotions, TGB Promotions, and Man Down Promotions. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. And El Mexicano brand products, bringing authentic sabor to your table. Somos El Mexicano. Well, fans, let's bring our fighters to the stage at this time. First, the challenger from Detroit and training in Dallas, Texas. He'll be making his first attempt at a world title. Here is the undefeated world-ranked lightweight contender, escorted by his promoter, former welterweight world champion Errol Spence. Please welcome Frank the Ghost Martin. And now introducing the defending world champion from Baltimore, Maryland. Please welcome the popular, the hard-hitting, 5-time 3-division champion of the world, Gervonta Tank Davis. looks like our fighters are ready to get started a little bit early. First, let's bring them to the scale. 135 pounds is the weight limit for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. First, ladies and gentlemen, undefeated with a record of 18 wins, no losses, and 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated all-action challenger introducing Frank the Ghost Martin. 134.4 pounds, 134.4 for Frank the Ghost Martin. And now we bring the defending champion to the scale. His record, 29 wins, no losses, 27 knockouts to his credit. One of boxing's pound-for-pound superstars, the defending WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gervonta the Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis weighs in at a trim and ready 133.4 pounds. The fight is on for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World.
Socks on. 133.4. Oh, 134. Let's get your guy, coach. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. The WBA Lightweight World Championship main event. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank the Ghost Martin. Do not blink, do not miss this all-action main event of the evening. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from both of our fighters. I turn it over to Jordan Plant.
Frank, that was a very intense stare down. Can you tell the fans what was being said right there?
We just both ready. You know, we ready for tomorrow. I'm stepping on his ass tomorrow, period.
Yeah. Do you enjoy being the underdog in all this, and does it give you extra motivation?
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy that there's so many people in this arena that's sleeping on me. It's a blessing. You know what I mean? I'm a dog and I'm coming out on top. I don't give a damn who he is. I'm coming out on top tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, you have the opportunity to change your life if you win this fight. How surreal is this moment for you?
This everything. You know, this moment right here, you know what I mean? If y'all see me get emotional in that arena tomorrow after I get that dub, it's from all the hard work that I've put in, all the sacrifices. You know what I mean? I'm coming out on top tomorrow, so just know that.
Good luck. Thank you so much. That's a very focused Frank Martin, everybody. Now I'll head over to Gervonta Davis. The WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gervonta Davis. Your face-offs are always intense, and I saw you even went over there and said a little something to him in the beginning. Is that something you plan, or you just kind of feel it in the moment?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'll say it again. I saw you walk over there earlier and say something to Frank Martin, and your face-offs are always kind of fun. Is that something you plan, or do you just feel that in the moment?
I'm just getting in his head. He can't even make weight. He's been working for a minute to make weight, so.
All right, so you don't plan that. Well, I want to know, is this going to be the most dangerous Gervonta Davis we've seen yet? Because you said you've got a lot built up. You're going to take it out on him.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy out there. So I hope he prepared and hope he's been training hard. So tomorrow is going to be a great night for the sport of boxing.
I agree with that. Now, I know you bring out some of the biggest rap artists in the game when you walk to the ring. Who's walking with you to the ring tomorrow night?
Got to turn in or be here tomorrow to see.
Can you give the fans a hint and say what city is he from?
Can't do that. Can't do it.
All right, well, we're going to be looking forward to that. And I also want to know, you've been out 14 months. Have you been practicing that backflip?
Yeah. You want to see?
Hey! Love it. Good luck to you tomorrow night. Everyone, Gervonta Davis!
Thank you, everyone, for your attendance. That's the main event of the evening. WBA lightweight world title and a big night of action taking place. Pay-per-view begins at 5 p.m. It's Premier Boxing Champions presents PBC Pay-per-view on Prime. We'll see you then, everybody. See you tomorrow night.